I'm happy to be in this country, to meet the great people that I've met in this country, and also the diaspora, the Kenyans who are living in this country. I'm going to be talking on a concept note on financing opportunities for Kenyans who are in their diaspora and the business opportunities that are there in Kenya for diaspora customers. I'm just going to be brief. I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Kevin Mutisya. I head a micro and agribusiness team for Kingdom Bank, a subsidiary of Cooperative Bank. Who is Kingdom Bank? Before you understand who is Kingdom Bank, you have first of all to understand who is the mother bank that owns Kingdom Bank. Kingdom Bank is owned by Cooperative Bank of Kenya Limited. Cooperative Bank of Kenya Limited is owned by a 15-member cooperative movement, a 15 million member cooperative movement, which is quite serious. The 15 million member cooperative movement owns 64.5% of the bank, which has an asset base of over $6 billion. The cooperative movement is formed by members from various circles, various unions, whereby they came together, they started circles. For example, people in the agri sector, dairy sector, transport sector, housing sector, they came together, formed circles, and from those circles, the same circles came together and started a cooperative movement and registered an investment arm called Coop Holdings Coop Society Limited. Using that investment umbrella, they owned 65.5% of a bank. They started a bank. This is what, this shows the power that is there when people come together. They can do a lot. Is that true? So Cooperative Bank is owned 65% by circles, 35.5% is owned by majority shareholder, that is individuals who have a lot of money, institutions, and some government entities. Cooperative Bank owns Kingdom Bank. It also owns Cooperative Bank of Southern Sudan, Coop Consultancy and Bank Assurance Limited, whereby it owns 100% shareholding. Coop Trust Investment Services Limited owns 100% of that. That's an asset management company managing assets over $3 billion. Kingdom Securities Limited for trading shares and bonds. Kingdom Bank Limited, whereby it owns 90% of that bank. Cooperative Insurance Society Limited, known as CIC in Kenya, one of the largest insurance companies in Kenya, I think the second largest. Coop Bank Fleet Africa Leasing Limited, this is a leasing company owned by Coop Bank. So you can see how serious this is, and it is basically from SACCO movement, the cooperative movement of 15 million members. Kingdom Bank, as I had said, is owned by Coop Bank, and Kingdom Bank main target market is what we call micro, small, and medium-term enterprises. The micro is what the minister yesterday was referring as the informal sector. Micro is those small businesses that have not fully matured to reach a certain level. In Kenya, we say micro enterprises are entities which have less than 10 employees. Most of them are not in permanent structures. Micro segment is whereby we have people who operate business in groups or in what we call chamas in Kenya, groups or chamas. Then we go to the SME, what we call small, medium-term enterprises. These businesses have already now matured, but they go to another level. So what I heard is the informal businesses, the micro segment. This is the incubation for small businesses, people who start small businesses, but they don't have enough capital to start the business, or they don't have enough know-how on how to operate businesses. So what do? We offer capacity building, first of all, to ensure that they have the right knowledge to do business. We also do a lot of linkages with various people in various sectors. We also do financing for them. Business opportunities that are available in Kenya are albeit sector-wise. One, agri-sector. Agriculture sector in Kenya is so robust, it contributes to around 33% of the GDP of Kenya, and another 27% of the GDP indirectly through linkages with other sectors, such as manufacturing, transport sector. The agri sector is known to employ at least 40% of the total population and 70% of the rural population, because majority of agriculture is done in the rural areas. The sector accounts for 65% of the export earnings and provides livelihood, that is through employment, income, and food security needs for more than 80% of the Kenyan population. So what are those opportunities that are available in agriculture? One, horticulture. Cut flowers. I had one person yesterday saying he does imports cut flowers to Namibia. We also have French beans. We have pineapples, mushrooms, avocados. Avocado has become one of those value chains currently in Kenya that is on the rise. We have so many people who are doing avocado, and we have a very large market in China whereby they are requesting for frozen avocado. So you can see macadamia nuts. The nuts industry is also a very huge industry whereby majority of the nuts are exported. Kenyans grow nuts and they are exported. Avocados, passion fruits, whereby people are exporting passion fruits. Secondly, we have agro-processing. Value addition. Majority of edible oil that Kenyans are currently using is usually imported. People are importing edible oils and other oils produced in other countries. You import the oil, they repackage it, or they do value addition. So that's a very huge opportunity there. When the oil prices, cooking oil prices or edible oil prices went up last year, you found even the oil, what we were using in the country was so minimal, and the prices were so high, and there was no alternative to that. So that's a very huge opportunity for those of you who would want to invest in the edible oils industry through agro-processing. We also have investment in palm oils, investment in sunflower, rapeseeds, cottonseed, sesame seed, coconut oil. Another opportunity also exists in those who want to do value addition in coffee and tea value chains. Coffee and tea value chains are very common in Kenya, whereby we have majority of the highland areas, they do coffee and tea planting. Sugar production is also another area where I can say there's a lot of opportunity in terms of production of sugar. We have a deficit of close to 402,000 tons per annum in Kenya for sugar. We import a lot of sugar as a country. So you can see there's also an opportunity. We also have an opportunity in meat and dairy products for those of you who would want to deal in that. I'm told you have a robust meat industry here, so you can also think about that. Share what you have learned about the meat industry with our brothers back in Kenya. We also have the real estate, the universal housing model. Currently, the government is promoting what we are calling affordable housing units. The government is trying to come up with models on how can they provide affordable housing units to various Kenyans. So it requires people to invest in this sector for the government to be able to achieve this initiative. So as diaspora customers, you're able to do what? To support this through investment in real estate, and they are ready buyers for the same. manufacturing sector. It can be done either directly or jointly in venture investments that exist in the manufacturing sector. I'd mentioned agro-processing, whereby we add value for the various value chains in the agri sector. Garments, assembly of motor vehicles, which we do. Electronics, plastics, paper, manufacture, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, metal, and engineering products. We also have another opportunity that is quite growing, e-commerce. E-commerce, that is a digital space. Expansion has been key to MSMEs. Majority of MSMEs are now sourcing goods digitally and advertising for those goods. Someone is seated somewhere, they don't have a physical shop, but they are selling. They are turning millions through e-commerce. So e-commerce is one of those major opportunities that do exist. I'm imagining a diaspora in Namibia has goods that they want to sell to people in Kenya, unique products. E-commerce is one of those platforms. And as a bank, we are ready to support you in terms of how you grow your business. In addition, investment in digital lending. Digital lending, as you know, Kenya adopted the microbanking or the mobile technology so much that it has grown, and now we are offering services in terms of digital lending. We have so many digital lending firms, and the majority of the banks also do digital lending. So digital lending is also another opportunity for us. As a bank, we also offer digital lending. So it's also an investment opportunity. Those are some of the key opportunities that I picked up, that I felt that I can articulate to you. Any question to them?
From a Kenyan perspective, when we say there is an opportunity, how easy is it to tap into that opportunity? Because every so often you will see, it almost feels like there is oversupply when you go to every other farming or every other market, and you don't see the farmers getting the real benefits from the animals they farm. There's a lot of that middleman perspective that is there. So, as corporates, let's say like from your side as Kingdom Bank, are there any bigger corporates within the meat industry that you work with that somebody can sit with and they can set up the structure deal to say, fine, our gap is for X amount of tons of meat, and then you now work towards providing towards that tonnage, or is so that it does not become the norm of you produce and then you have to go to the open market to try and dispose?
Working closely in hand with the Kenya Meat Commission, one of the largest, I would say, producers of meat. They buy a lot of meat from the market, and it was revamped. I know they are offering some superior products. So as an institution, yes, we do advocate for that. We also do advocate for partnerships for customers who are supplying meat to supermarkets. We have dealt with them. So there is quite an opportunity. But now the issue is on the quality of what you're producing in the market. If you have superior products, you can differentiate yourself as you're providing the meat in the market. It's about the superior products that we sell on. Kenyans want superior products, and if they can be able to get a superior product at an affordable or a competitive price, I'm sure that they will. When I talk about coffee and tea value chain, I'm talking about coffee, how coffee is planted from the point of planting by the primary producer, who is the farmer, how value addition is done from the factories until it is milled, till it's exported or marketed by the people who are doing marketing. There is an opportunity there. If you're able to buy that coffee and do the value addition yourself, and maybe export or come up with a product that can be used locally.
Okay. Not grow the coffee yourself,
can as well decide to grow the coffee yourself.
Why am I asking? Because I know some friends of mine who had coffee and they thought it wasn't making money for them and they decided to uproot it. Would you say that was a mistake, or what's your take on that?
My take on that is the coffee prices fluctuate internationally. At times, I know a farmer may feel that they are not getting the right price, majorly because of the number of middlemen that are involved. However, if you're able to cut the number of middlemen that are involved in the tea or coffee value chains, you find that the primary producer with the farmer is able to get higher returns. That's why I'm saying there's an opportunity for someone who can go directly to them, buy from them at a good price, and market the same without having to use so many middlemen.
Okay. How about trees like eucalyptus? Are they marketable?
I won't lie, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, thanks.
I think I might have an answer for that.
Okay.
Eucalyptus trees, there was a time they had a good market when they were the main source from the Kenya Power Company to use for their poles. But they have since migrated to the concrete ones. And so if you transverse the land, you see there's a lot of blue color, those eucalyptus that are up and still not finding a market. Then there was a bigger issue about their effect on the water table. And I think with again that realization, a lot of people felt like they were not the right thing to implement on. But from a tree's perspective, I saw there is a lot of value and a lot of resource that you can get from the Kenya forestry. It's unfortunate that we don't visit those people, but whenever you visit them, the amount of information they sit with, it's admirable in terms of what works for your area. And at times it can even give you some sort of a business plan of telling you what is the commercial value of this tree after maybe 8 or 15 years, depending on its maturity. Thank you.
If maybe I want to open an agribank in Namibia, is it possible? And the second question is, this bank, in Kingdom Bank, sorry, does it have a visa? The first question was, if maybe I want to open a Kingdom Bank in Namibia, is it possible? And the second question was, this Kingdom Bank, does it have a visa?
Of opening an agri-bank for Namibia, I don't know how to answer such a question. Based on your laws in Namibia, I don't know if one would be able to open a bank, but I heard the minister yesterday talking about an SME bank. Agri basically is a product of a solution that is targeting farmers in any segment or locality. So any bank can decide to do targeting for farmers or targeting for various players in the agri sector. So by that targeting, it means, yes, there can be a bank that is serving customers in the agri sector, the agricultural sector. But in terms of whether you can open a bank, maybe that now you can pursue through your treasury ministry.
Sorry, if we may please come in and maybe guide him. Maybe he thinks Kingdom Bank is strictly an agricultural bank. Can you clarify that?
No, as I started, I said Kingdom Bank majorly targets MSMEs, select corporates, and has solutioning for various sectors, agri being one of them. SMEs, micro and medium-term enterprises, circles, and select corporates and government institutions.
Okay, and secondly, apologies, I don't want to read his mind, maybe what he meant is to say, can he have a franchise of Kingdom Bank here? Because I'm sure he is aware that we have an Agribank here already. And then maybe he can ask, or correct me if I'm wrong. You know, sometimes the Queen's languages, it messes up with us. It's not easy.
True. In terms of having a branch here, now that depends on the number of customers that would get here. Before any business goes and opens a subsidiary somewhere or a branch somewhere, they must have enough customers. That's why we see we came here all the way from how many kilometers? 4,200 kilometers from Kenya to here, so that we can see, are we able to get diaspora customers? And the more we get, now that may form some advice to the management of the bank towards making a decision on the same.
Yesterday we discussed a little bit on flowers. We are importing flowers from South Africa. And yesterday I learned that we are also getting flowers from Kenya. And there are hiccups. Is it possible probably also to have a person from Kenya who is to be a consultant in Namibia to empower us on how to produce flowers. Flowers, they are in demand. Somebody in the hospital, flowers need to be there. Every occasion, flowers need to be there. And if you could have a production also of flowers in Namibia, that will make a difference. Thank you.
We then combine a team to go either to the deputy minister if we have questions regarding the financial or whatever that needs to be resolved. If we have anything agricultural that we need to go to His Excellency, and then we all go collectively. So we make note of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think just probably also give a little bit of clarity. Yesterday, amongst us in the audience here was a Kenyan who actually imports flowers. Right? He's been doing this for some time. So he knows the logistics around bringing flowers here. I think it is also could be nice as well to actually share his details. Then that can be used to actually liaise with him to see if he can be able to link up with, especially the already flower companies in Kenya that can actually help him grow flowers here. Absolutely. But mostly what majority of flowers are actually produced in Kenya and Ethiopia, and they are being done under greenhouses. And I think the question now is based on the technology in the greenhouse to produce the flowers. But I think South Africa does very little flowers, to be honest. Majority of the flowers they sell comes from Kenya.
So it's an issue of linkages through the embassy.
Right.
Linkages with players in the flower industry. One, we already have one person who is doing that here. The one who was telling us he has an issue in terms of cargo handling that has affected his business.
Yeah.
But there are very many players. So through the embassy, I know they can do linkages so that you can have people who are doing that. Maybe now share the information. And the embassy can do it quite well, because now they can know how do they export that technology from Kenya to here.
My name is Benestes Kandrugu. Before I go to my point, Madam, you are from Namibia?
Yes, I'm a Namibian by birth.
Oh, okay. Just why I'm asking is, we used to have one and only flower farm here in Namibia. The name was Onkombo West. I don't know whether some of us can recall.
Onkombo West, I know.
It's really just here on your way to the airport. Yeah. It used to be flourishing. The son of the owners, we used to school together there in Windhoek. It was closed because of political reasons. Okay. And it's in tatters. So maybe if you can consider, you can maybe approach the powers that be and have a look at it, because the potential is still there. And since you say the demand is there, so why not? So just a comment? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now to come to my point,
Sorry.
just the question that the gentleman asked regarding the Kingdom Bank. The takeaway that I had from from yesterday, from the Deputy Minister of Finance, she referred briefly to the scenario of SME Bank, how it went down and how it started and went down. But notably, the potential that still exists cannot be done away with. And the fact that we can still accommodate our players from everywhere, Namibia and Africa, is still an opportunity for Kingdom Bank to have a look at it. She mentioned an asset base still of 700,000, no, 700 million asset base, which is huge compared to what you require to open a bank. Well, that's now being demanded by the regulator, which is Bank of Namibia. So one can have a look at it. And still, we have only Agribank that specializes in agriculture, agri-finance, and we know how they serve us. And then we have the commercial banks with their interest rates and their collateral issues and stuff like that. So if we can have a platform like this one, and we have connectivity through the authorities like the Deputy Minister there, and she mentioned her door is open, and we have such an audience, the platform, maybe Madam Tosi can do something magical. So that's my take.
It's just a mere suggestion. We have millions here, of which some of them are my nieces and cousins who have become Namibians. So they do not have documents or Kenyan documents to become members of your Kingdom Bank. Maybe that is maybe you can look at that, and the possibility of Kingdom Bank having clients here. Would that not be an hindrance? They don't have documents. They are Kenyans. They former Kenyans, they don't have their Kenyan documents. They have become Namibians. But if they are interested to become clients with Kingdom Bank, will that be a hindrance, or is there a possibility?
Or are you asking whether the Kingdom Bank can open foreign accounts for foreigners? Is that a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenyans who are in diaspora, we have what we are calling a diaspora department, and there is a way that we deal with them. There is a documentation that is usually required and notarized in that country. So I think this is something that is doable. We have been doing it in terms of how we open accounts on board those customers and also have them enjoy various services, credit facilities, transactional accounts, investment options. So that is possible. It's just an issue of discussion on the business opportunities that exist in Kenya that can benefit both Namibians and Kenyans.
Perfectly answered.
So the issue of what you were saying, the issue of the policies and regulations that are put there by the various central banks. One is an issue of knowing your customer, KYC. I know it's also in this country.
Yeah.
For banks, they have to ascertain the customers that they are opening accounts to, and how they are able to track the flow of money from one entity or one locality to another locality. Because of AML, anti-money laundering laws that are there internationally. So it becomes a little bit difficult before we do that. But an issue of cooperation that you are talking about, I know that's something that we can take up and maybe forward the same through our embassy for further discussion.
What is the medium to long term plan of Kingdom Bank here in Namibia? That's number one. Number two, just a short one. I have been in agribanking for quite a while, roughly 15 years, 10 years full-time, 5 years as a consultant. I am now outside my comfort zone as a salary taker. I moved away. I want to become a full-time person doing business. My experience with the banks that I've been in particular, they do banking in, for example, Hong Kong, in the US. So what they do in those particular countries or localities, they do. I don't have the official word currently now. Don't do much with policy, but I know they, let me say, piggy bank with another bank, they partner with another bank for their interests and so on. So maybe that can be, as Tosi said, as you also said rightly, it can be investigated and you know, our minister, deputy minister of finance, Madam Hida, she also used to be a banker. So she might also have know-how, and she's also in the correct position also to maybe look at this idea and say whether it's workable or not. Last one, we used to have the SME bank. It was tailored to target the MSME or SME as it used to be. And we know what happened. It was moved to DBN, and we have the issue of the interest rates. It's now at the level of commercial banks. Prime plus or something, depending on your risk level and so on, which is unfortunate because their main shareholder is who? Is government. Okay? So, and they did borrow elsewhere outside, mostly from development funding institutions from Germany and elsewhere, meaning that they also, the funds that they get, that's my assessment, is also at a cheaper rate. So now why go and compete with commercial bank if your target market anyway is the upcoming guys? Yeah. So that's something that need to be also looked at. So those are challenges that are in the financial sector, in our growing sector, mostly the black population who needs money to start their businesses and so on and so on. Small, as His Excellency the Ambassador said yesterday. Yeah. So it comes at the point that where you have challenges like that in terms of people accessing finance, cheap finance for that matter, then you also open room for people to come in to business. Yeah. And one of them is SME. And another one was also mentioned yesterday, very interestingly, is cooperative finance or banking. So maybe you can also look at that one. It's for sure lacking here. And if you do that, then you can do business. We know the economies of scale. We don't have the numbers, but I mean, if you can come in at your rate and so on, I think you might take market share over some time. We know how Capitec in South Africa started. Yeah? It started like a microfinance bank. Look at it's the most efficient bank in SA now.
And small and medium-term enterprises. If you have ever visited Kenya, you'd find a business nearly everywhere that you are walking to. If it's a supermarket that is somewhere, outside the supermarket, you will find some small vendors who are selling the same wares that are inside the supermarket. Some of the towns or cities have so many businesses, nearly in all buildings, that you may even be confused what to buy because they are all selling the same thing. It's now about the value addition or the quality of the products that are being produced. True, in terms of a bank wanting to expand outside its borders, it depends on the customer base. Majority of the banks in Kenya have expanded as far as Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. It's an issue of the customer. The more customers that we are able to target outside our space, now that is what advises the management of banks to want to explore more. And some of those linkages is that, as the minister was saying yesterday, some of them can only be pursued under such a level.
Ambali on Sunday. What I'm looking at is not more on debating. I think the opportunity was availed to you by the minister already that there is a bank waiting for somebody to invest. And looking at your case, you stand a very good chance. But don't come as a Kenyan and go out as a Kenyan. In Namibia, we are suffering for our own syndrome. We are dependent to South African economy. We have Nedbank, FNB, Standard Bank. These are South African 100% owned banks. We have Windhoek, that is partially owned by Namibian and Botswana through Capricorn and I think a bit of South African. But for Windhoek, I think we have, for the local shareholders, we have one or two black people, Brian Black, and I don't know who's the other one. Only black people. Yes, PH. So we don't have black-owned bank in Namibia. And I thought I had something. There was like a catalog that indicates the charges that will pay payment system. And this caught my attention after the ambassador spoke about M-Pesa payment system in Kenya. So I just wanted to know your relationship with M-Pesa and how do we get it introduced in Namibia, maybe so that we can get in touch with them, because it's very easy. We have a Bank of Namibia agency that look at the payment system and approve, and then also invite the banks to link with you. So it's not a cumbersome system that much. Maybe it will take about a year or two to get it approved through due diligence and bureaucratic processes. And maybe we can beat other payment systems that are just making the locals. Thank you.
Safaricom came up with a payment system or a payment platform whereby it would enable Kenyans, people, MSMEs, individuals to transact money from a mobile wallet, what maybe here you are calling e-wallets. They're able to, you're able to send money to someone, you're able to receive money from someone. You're able to withdraw the money from either ATMs or you can also buy goods from the same. So the technology has advanced so much that you're able to buy things online, e-commerce. You're able to send money across borders. I know they have some presence in South Africa, whereby you're able to send money to South Africa and some international countries. So the technology is owned by a teleco, and what the teleco has done, it has partnership with banks, whereby apart from you receiving money from your mobile wallet or your e-wallet, you're also able to receive money in your bank account. Someone is able to send you money from an e-wallet or a mobile wallet to your bank account directly. So the agreement with banks is they provide a settlement solution whereby a pay bill number, what we call a pay bill number, an account number, and a mobile account number is provided and terminated to a specific account that is attached to it in a bank. So majority of the banks have that agreement in Kenya, whereby we're able to settle money from M-Pesa. M-Pesa is so robust that majority of the transactions that we are doing in Kenya are M-Pesa based. Buying of things, even paying of fares when you are late, when you enter into any transport vehicle, when you go to a shop, when you go to a supermarket, majority of the transactions are through this mobile banking platform. Yes, it's a good technology. So it's an issue of how do we link you towards benefiting from the same.
Sorry. It's very strange. We don't trust our wallet system in Namibia. Even taxi fare, you have to have cash to pay the taxi. If you don't have money like now, you can't quickly jump into a taxi and go to the next destination. You need to go to the ATM, get a $50, you'll be charged, and then get a cab. So our system, it can be scammed, it can be tampered with. It's not that efficient. It doesn't give trust to the clients. So the payment system that we operate from, and even buying online or doing e-commerce here is relatively very, very low. I think it's only few companies where you can order, like food and so on, very few. And also the doubts in us whether things will be delivered online or not. It's also another thing. So we need a very robust system to change our attitude and then also to give confidence in us. So there are opportunities there. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yes, what you are saying in terms of trust, it's not that it's unique here. It is also prevalent there. But the options that are provided under the various payment platforms that are operated by banks and telecom, they provide options whereby if you are buying something, there is a possibility whereby once you have paid, you are not able to reverse the transaction. You have to do, there has to be due diligence done before you reverse a transaction. So you'll find quite a majority of Kenyans don't carry cash as such. When COVID came, this pushed majority of Kenyans to digital channels or alternative channels. So majority of people stopped using cash more. Yes.
Sorry? Oh, okay. Okay.
So majority of people stopped using cash and went to M-Pesa. You'd find someone a matatu, what we call the public transport system in Kenya, and pay using M-Pesa. You go to a shop, you may find yourself the whole week you have not even touched cash because you have money in your mobile wallet. But the issue is about linkages. The opportunities that we are talking about is about linkages. How can they assist you? I would like to proceed, if allowed, just shortly. There's an issue of business finance. Of course, one is through banks. Secondly, we're also talking about circles, the circle movement, whereby people come together, they save and form a pool of funds, whereby they are able to borrow from those pool of funds. That is the circle movement, and it's quite robust in Kenya. We have circles for employed people. We have circles per sector, that is the agri circles. We have circles for transport sector. We also have circles for housing sector, real estate. We have even circles for the diaspora. We have what we call savings and cooperative societies, some that are not even sector-wise, but have been formed to provide credit solutions. We also have multilateral lenders as a source of finance, that is the likes of IFC, World Bank, donors that are able to provide finance. We have microfinance institutions. We have venture capitalists who are able to invest in opportunities and maybe get a share of the business. We have digital lending companies. In Kenya, the digital lending companies has seen the rise. There are so many digital lending companies because the mobile technology in Kenya is so high. Most people have adopted mobile transaction or mobile payment system. So it's easier to lend to them through the digital lending. For banks, of course, banks is a major source of business finance, whereby we're able to provide finance. And for diasporas, majorly, we're able to provide finance to them individually, or we're able to provide finance to them through what we call investment groups or chamas, whereby diasporas come together in a common purpose, maybe to do investment, and whereby we tell you, if you come together and do monthly savings, we're able to give you a certain percentage of what you have saved. Let's say you are saving X amount of money. We tell you, we're able to give you 10 times what you have saved as a group. To do what? To invest maybe in property, to invest in construction or development, buy plots. That clear?
Wow. We are speechless. Oh.
So investment groups. Circles also would fall under such an arrangement as an investment groups in terms of when we are targeting you and saying you want to invest. Majority of diasporas, I know they usually want to invest in property back at home. You want to invest in a certain industry that has an asset attached to it. So our solution goes towards what amount are we able to finance one. It usually depends on the monthly savings that you are making. Because an investment group, the source of income is usually the member savings. And some of the investment groups are what turns up into circles. When an investment group outgrows itself, the next possible route is a circle. Then from a circle, maybe we can decide either to maintain a circle or register or go public. We have circles that were circles but now are banks, microfinance banks in Kenya.
Touch on what the gentleman just mentioned regarding colleagues in the diaspora who want to invest at home. I think as I'm speaking, I'm part of the foundation, I'm a member of the foundation that are also looking into interest of a community here in Namibia who are also having members in the diaspora. One of the key issues is a challenging issue, and it has been a thorn in the flesh. Sending money to buy cattle, to buy houses, to what they do. After 5 years, they come here, that house is nowhere to be seen. Cattle are nowhere to be seen. So there is an appetite from people from abroad, currently in Namibia, but they are Namibians, they are not Kenyans. Maybe you can also put it in as part of the package list, maybe, to look around.
What I can say about diasporas, the reason it's better to invest as a group, you are able to approach entities that are selling maybe land or properties and get fair deals, and also do due diligence on behalf of various number of people, and also do linkages with various governments before you do investment. The idea does not seem that it's not that it only belongs to Kenya, the issue of investment groups. I know major banks, even in other countries, they do support investment groups. But now the idea is how are those groups formed and how are those groups operated. Group business, we follow what we call the Grameen model, whereby people come together and they keep each other in check. You know, groups, when you are electing officials, there's a reason why you're electing someone to be a chairman, someone to be a treasurer. There's something that you have seen in them that makes them to be better chairmen, better treasurers, so they can assist in terms of due diligence before you invest. So it's an issue of who is leading these groups. If they want to do investment because they came up for a common purpose, they'll do investment if they have the right people who are driving that agenda. In Kenya, we have what we call investment groups. Then we have another group that we call, another segment that we call micro groups. Micro groups, these are the informal people come together and do savings and go to the bank to borrow money for working capital needs for their businesses. I was talking about informal people who are selling just normal wares, maybe vegetables. They come together, they do some little bit saving, then the bank says, I'll give you 5 times of what you have saved for the last 8 weeks to boost your business. Then they don't use any collateral. They are guaranteed by the various members in that group for them to get that loan. Until now the business grows and they move from that segment into an SME.